Oh, stop.
So hi, welcome back to Critics Critique. I'm Eric.
Mike. Yeah.
And I'm Will.
So we have a very special guest star today. It's TJ, the Mecha Kid Reese. You might know him from Knights Inc. or some of his other channels. He does a lot of work for us. He is a fan of Star Wars as much as the rest of us, and had some insight and some topics that we have to discuss today. So he is our first guest star.
Well, thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for having me. We are here to discuss
Star Wars Episode VII, The Force Awakens.
Star Wars The Force Awakens was made for a budget of $306 million. Its expenses were roughly $381 million. More than it cost to make the movie.
Well, that's because nobody had ever heard of Star Wars before. They really had to get the word out.
Yeah, like...
Domestically, Star Wars The Force Awakens made $936 million.
That seems like a lot.
Internationally, it made $1,122 million.
$1 billion.
For a worldwide gross of $2,058 million. For the all-time domestic box office, Star Wars ranks number 1. It's made the most money all-time domestically. It is the number 4 highest grossing movie of all time internationally, and it is the number 3 highest grossing movie of all time worldwide. So, Rotten Tomatoes has given The Force Awakens a 93% critics review rating.
Who are the 7% of critics that don't like Star Wars?
We'll get to that.
That would be interesting.
The audience reaction totaled an 89% chance that you will like The Force Awakens.
That can't be right.
Metacritic, out of 54 aggregated critic reviews, they scored an 81 out of 100. And the user score out of 6,300 people was a 6.9 out of 10. On IMDb, out of 700,000 people, the aggregate score was an 8.1 out of 10.
Where does that put that in the rankings? Do we have that?
I'm not sure. I can look that up in just a minute so that I can actually say it. CinemaScore gave the movie a grade rating of A. They don't do A+, so that's the highest they give. People liked The Force Awakens a lot, is an understatement.
Because it was Star Wars.
Apparently, yes. The positive over widespread written reviews and comments and through all those aggregate scores or whatever, repeated positive comments are that the movie captures the spirit of the original trilogy. Perfect. That it has good humor, a fast pace, that it provides fan service, that it is a quote-unquote course correction for the series.
Eric, these comments, they're true. All of them.
Every single one of them.
All of them.
TJ, you have the talking stick. You have a positive you'd like to say about The Force Awakens and what you thought? What kind of positives did you say?
Kind of positives I have about the movie. Well, from start to finish, I thought it was splendid.
Yeah, I see that.
Okay, because
I see it.
Finn spoke to my soul on so many different levels. So did Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
I mean, from like the moment I saw Finn, I was like, I feel a connection with you. And no, it's not because we look alike, but that is probably.
And if I can dip my toe into some fan service, I'm so 100% on board with the concept that Poe Dameron is going to initiate some kind of triangular three-way something between.
I'm not on board with
Finn is gonna be like
when he pats him on the shoulder,
like
and bites his
gives
lip.
him that like up and down.
Well, no, like if
you can
it's
just hear him like, "Let's do this." Like,
just Finn and Poe, or like
8,
that's
7.
fine. But
Oh, he then says, "It looks good on you."
yeah.
I wanted Finn to just turn around and be like, "Did he just?" No.
Well, as Ray said, "Hi, this is my boyfriend Finn, and this is Finn's boyfriend Poe Dameron."
Want to note?
movie was swell.
The movie
I
made
mean-
you swell.
A little bit.
He
Pants
couldn't be
got
overly
tight.
positive.
Did you
'cause he's also
see the
holding
Millennium
it.
Falcon? Like, pile of garbage is fine.
ATSTs.
Camera, entire theater.
ATST!
Woo!
X-Wings!
I did particularly like the thing that really thank you. The thing that really drew me in though was, you know, you remember the teaser trailer how they showed it. They didn't really show anybody. You just saw the Millennium Falcon flying around trying to outrun the TIE fighters.
You
God,
saw
that
a
was a
crossguard
great shot.
lightsaber, and everyone
Yep.
was like,
That was
"What?"
cool.
And you know, part of me is like, I know they cut some scenes out of trailers, out of movies, and I'm like, well, where was that scene?
Yeah, it's a good one.
I like this movie a lot, and I'm not gonna lie, I teared up a bit when the Star Wars logo hits the screen and there's that fanfare from John Williams' score and everything. Like, I mean, I had seen Star Wars movies in the theater, but this had never been a new Star Wars movie. Seeing it for the first time in the movie theater.
Really?
It was the experience.
And yeah, and now here I am at, what was it, 2015 this movie came out? I was 28 years old, and it just was amazing to see that. You need this?
I do, because speaking of going to see it in the theater, I'm post it so it's not confusing thematically. When you're talking about going to see it in the theater the first time, what I compared it to is when I was growing up, and I was a kid and I was watching 4, 5, and 6 just on continual repeat, interspersed with Indiana Jones occasionally, but it's 4, 5, and 6.
Exactly.
The
My
core,
childhood,
yeah.
too, yeah.
My mom and my dad would talk to me about going to see Star Wars in theaters, like the original Star Wars, and then how people, when Empire Strikes came out, people were just lined up for blocks to see this movie. And then when I went to see Force Awakens, I felt that same enthusiasm of everyone going to the theater. And going to see Force Awakens in the theater was an experience that most movies aren't. Because you go in and everybody's hyped,
Yeah.
and the movie started, you get the fanfare, everybody goes, "Wah!" And the movie's going, you get Rey, you get Finn, and then they're escaping and stuff's blowing up.
Seeing
And
the
Rey's
movie with a good audience.
And
is
Ray's garbage
big
will
plus
do.
to the-
And the camera turns. And it's the Millennium Falcon. And the entire theater just erupted in applause, in cheering. And it was an experience that most movies aren't. People watch movies and you see a comedy, everybody laughs. But it's not like Star Wars, we're all there, all just caught up in the moment.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm not even sure what you're laughing at, but I hope it's good.
The whole theater erupted.
Yes. In laughter. Or cheering.
You
or
could
whatever.
just feel
whichever one.
the laughter oozing.
And they were like, "Oh."
I'm holding this so that nobody can say bad.
I do agree with you with that's exactly how it was for me when I saw it. As soon as they cut to the Millennium Falcon there and they were running to it, I was one of those people
That's
screaming.
me too. That's when
Yeah.
shit got real. That's when it went
Yeah.
from a really cool movie to Star Wars.
Now it's Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's real. I think that scene I love the most, and when Kylo Ren shows up for the first time in the village and he's interrogating people. The fight scene that they had in the woods. You remember that one in the snow? I had such high hopes for Finn. I was like, okay, he's actually going to do something. And then Kylo Ren was like, and you're a noob.
I love that the marketing set Finn up as the Jedi.
Yeah.
And then we get a complete reversal and it's Rey. I love that.
I knew Finn wasn't.
Well, that's
gonna
what
be
happens
the
when you
Jedi.
spend $400 million on your marketing. You have a story in
Yeah.
your marketing.
Yeah, try again, Blade Runner 2049.
Please click the link below to view our Blade
To
Runner
understand what they
2049
are talking about. Yeah.
video.
As far as it being a course correction for it, I think it's summed up pretty well in the first line of the movie. Anyone know the first line of the movie spoken by Max von Sydow?
Luke Skywalker
Star
has been
Wars.
missing.
No, that's in
War
the
of the Stars.
The first line spoken in the movie, which I think is to me represents what the point of the movie is this will begin to make things right.
Mm.
That is the first line spoken in the movie, and
You have to say
that
it like
is-
Max von Sydow,
Yeah.
though.
We can just let him say it.
Where'd he go?
This will begin to make things right.
You guys
Anyways.
Well said.
So, but the thing is, despite I had a similar experience, and despite overwhelmingly positive reactions to this movie, even just, like this is something iconic to me, and
Dial back.
like
Dial it up.
everything that I wanted in terms of archetypal characters, classic hero's journey story, revisiting the sense of adventure that comes from those old serials and things like that, and doing it with a sense of like fun, but still with a sense of like a good amount of melodrama.
Mm-hmm.
I overall liked it, but there are naysayers. There are people who
Eric.
write off the movie as...
Are you saying that there's people out there, insane madmen, who just think that this movie is somehow a remake of A New Hope, even though they have only
Exactly.
burgeoning similarities?
There are naysayers for this movie, and the number one criticism they have of this movie is all rooted around playing it safe. But the number one criticism that I can't stand...
Which is why the cast was all white and male.
Even Finn.
And
Well,
Ray.
that's...
And Ray.
I'll just go ahead on that side note real quick.
And-
That was one of the things that I
and
loved,
Ray.
is the concept of, if you have an excuse to do a hero story that we've seen time and time again, representing a different population, whether through gender or through race, brings something new to the table by doing something familiar.
No, I do agree with you. The fact that they did have such a diverse cast, being both gender, race, whatever, did make the movie 10 times more enjoyable. It did kind of reel in different audiences, and I do think that's what helped contribute to the success of the movie.
I disagree, because I think if you had a giant galaxy... Hold on, can I get that one? If you had a giant galaxy full of, people and there's really only going to be two kinds of things. There's going to be white males and aliens, and that's it. And Lando.
and Billy D. Williams.
And Billy.
And that's
And
it.
Mace Windu.
Why would you have any other diversity
But all
in a
the
giant
British,
galaxy?
all the British white males are bad guys.
There was some annoying amount of backlash over people saying, like, it's a shame that you have to make diversity undercut getting full talent for anything. Which
bouncing off of that, I don't think it was like the crazy people in white hoods who are downvoting this movie. I think it's your casual diet racists who are like, well,
racist.
wouldn't it, like,
50%
why
racist than the average.
why do they have to make him black?
And zero
Just the
calories.
people who ask that innocent question.
That is the one thing that I did want to say, is that the reason for looking at it for those things is because Star Wars is clearly supposed to be universally representative. They're trying their hardest. I mean, the original point of the story was to base your archetypes in
Universally understandable context.
yeah.
An everyman, if you will.
And I helped.
So right, but that's the thing, is we've always had the everyman, and now we have the everywoman. And to me, she did a great job of not being the woman character. Nobody was like pointing out like that she's a woman the whole time. The movie just played out, and the character, while as other times I would disagree that this is the way to go about it, for this movie, having her character be interchangeable between male and female made it a great choice that she was a female.
I thought Rey's character was actually very refreshing. Due to the fact that she was a woman, because you didn't have any, like, other than Leia, I'm talking about a centralized female lead Star Wars character. I mean, you had your Mara Jades from the Extendeds, and you had your...
but not main.
and you had your Padmes who were... But you had no Reys.
Yeah.
Although, I will say that a lot of the criticism for Finn being a black star in the movie dropped off after people saw the movie and realized he wasn't the Luke Skywalker, which I gotta say is still kind of a problem.
Yeah, I think that's almost more of a problem.
He's not the hero?
Mace
Okay.
Windu is rolling over on the ground on Coruscant somewhere.
Well, I was going to say studios weren't, I'm not going to say institutionally racist, But I will say that they would be scared to. They're like, oh, we're already pouring money into this movie. Why would we want to have more than a white everyman character?
Right.
And now it's understood, at least, it's still not considered safe by the movie industry, but it's understood at least that nobody really cares about that. I mean, obviously there are people that do.
Yeah, but fuck them.
If it was not plain before, it is plainer than ever after this movie has made billions of dollars that it's just not that big a deal.
Yeah.
To most people.
Star Wars, even in 1970s, took the damsel in distress and turned it on her head.
Sure.
Yeah, Leia was straight up badass.
Everybody liked it.
Star Wars has always been progressive in contributing to cinema. In what?
Especially Star Wars Episode 1.
In contributing to cinema. Well, even Star Wars Episode 1 did motion capture CGI before Lord of the Rings made it famous.
Progressive, like...
By telling a traditional story, it hammered home that a movie starring a female and two minorities can be the number one most profitable movie in America of all time.
Two?
Yeah.
In America. Number one in America.
No, two minorities.
Two minorities? Yeah.
Oscar Isaac is from South America, I think.
He is?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
They kind of, you know, they kind of fluffed his hair and, you know...
Gave him that hardcore slick side comb over. Like, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I see you.
I mean, I can't say they Americanized him because it's space, so... It's like...
They space-sized him.
Space America.
Poe Dameron went straight to American Eagle and lost his mind. That's
but I just like, yeah, they clearly went for the dashing hero aesthetic, but yeah, he's a minority too, and that's funny. It's because a lot of people didn't notice that. No one was complaining about Oscar Isaac as Poe Dameron before.
Right. You know, actually, there's the reverse when some people were complaining about Rami Malek being an Egyptian character, and he's Egyptian.
Yeah.
It's like,
Whoops.
chill.
Wait, was it Concord?
What other criticisms do people have?
That's one hell of a pilot! Woo-hoo!